There's actually something very odd about this garden, and I've just realised I haven't shown it to you yet. You probably haven't seen something like this before, but we've chosen life today. We've saved a little flower. The customer's just shown me a pot she's put together. Alright guys, we're at this new garden I did last time. It was quite overgrown. If you remember, I mowed around these two tulips, and I'm glad I did, because they look really nice. So it sprung back up, but it was really wet, so it was always going to. And I'll just show you the back, and then we'll get going, and then you can see what it looks like after. But we're going to be doing some work here. Alright, so I'm going to mow out the front, but I'll just show you the back. This is the border we're looking at, and it's got all sorts of debris that we're going to put to one side. And Steve's going to start, but I'm going to join in when I finish the mowing. We're just going to weed through this border and put it to grass, and put some grass seed down, so you can see there's some bindweed in there. The customer just wants it to be a bit easier to maintain. They did have trees in the corners before, and they've had them taken out for whatever reasons. I can't remember what they said. But the borders, they don't look too bad. It doesn't look like it's going to be a nightmare to weed. But there is a fair bit of work to do here, so it'll take us a few sessions, I think, coming back here over time. The grass has shot up. I mean, God, it's gone to a foot high in some places. So real sort of rye type grass in some bits of the lawn. But we'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, we're in the back, and this is what it looks like. So we've been through here, and we've raked it and put some seed down. And that is a cockerel you can hear in the background, believe it or not. In pretty close to the city centre. We're in throwing distance. So that's how far we've got up the border, and we've got all the rest of it to go. And I'll show you the front. Here we go. So here it is. Front looks really nice, and the tulips really nice as well. Okay, over and out. Just blowing the hard surfaces and then mowing it up. We're in this garden. So it's getting neater, but this tree, wow, the blossom's really coming out, and it's such a beautiful day. Huge load of cherry blossom. Come with me. So that's the back lawn done. We'll go out the front. Just about to mow there. Steve's been blowing and I've been cleaning it up. Okay, this is the front garden. So it looks messier than it is actually, and the stripes always come up more on the camera than you can see in real life. But come for a ride. Okay, that's the front done, and it looks very nice. And we'll just catch up with Steve and see what he's doing, and then on to the next one. Okay, so we're starting down this border, and you can see what he's done so far. Very nice. He's very neat. He uses the rake after he's hoed. And I've got a hoe as well. Got a little bit of time for us to both go at it. Okay, so just hoed through these bits quickly. We only had 10 minutes since I last spoke to you. And then at the back there, and Steve's made some more gains up here, so that's really good. I'm really happy with the progress. I'm just going to take some cuttings from some of these roses. These two at the bottom have some good material on them. And I'll do some videos on what I've been taking cuttings of. I've been going absolutely mad. Might get some off the forsythia at the end as well. Not the best day to be taking cuttings and then keeping them in a hot car though, so I'll fill this tub with water and hopefully that'll do them till I can get them in some wet soil in the shade. And just quickly, actually, you remember those luminous little tulips I showed you 2 weeks ago? Or was it 4? I think it was only 2 weeks ago. They've gone already, so not very long lasting. Everything's moving on to other flowering things like this. I don't know, that's a... no, I don't know what that is. Alright, we're just at the next house, and it's a blow mow and go, so just a simple mowing job, but I'll show you something. It's interesting. Here's part of the lawn, and in fact you can see it quite clearly here. There's bits of moss just on the surface. It's where birds are picking up the moss to take for nesting. And here is an area, it almost looks like it's been scarified, but it hasn't. It's just birds picking it out and taking bits with them, so that's interesting. And there's Steve up there having a mow. Big old tree root there, so he's just going in between the roots and getting the bits he can. Then I'll go around that with a strimmer later. Blow through the patio at the back. Choke's up. Might not need the choke. It's already warm. So we've finished mowing on this lawn, and that's where all the moss was, but we've chosen life today. We've saved a little flower and decided not to mow over it, of course. Nice little thing. Don't know what it is, but there's another couple behind it. But it looks very nice, very tiny. Just down there. So on to the next one. Alright guys, we're at the next house, and just doing the verges out the front actually. I'll show you, and then we'll show you what it looks like in the back. So the council don't really do these very often, and it's pretty tall and looks pretty messy. It gets pretty bad if you don't do them. And then there's this beautiful cherry tree out the front with the cherry blossom. You can see the old cherries from last year that haven't come off. the shriveled up fruit there. Absolutely beautiful. The UK is really starting to come alive. Here we are in the back, and I think this is a lilac, you know, coming out. You have a look at the leaves, and this is what the lawn looks like, and the seed's done really well. It's all growing. I'll give you a close-up if we can, and show you what it looks like when we're finished. There's actually something very odd about this garden, and I've just realised I haven't shown it to you yet. You probably haven't seen something like this before. So I'm going to take you on a ride, and at the end of this row with the mower, I'll show you what's going on. So there's these two holes, and if I show you the sides, there's one here and there's one here. And they're not sand dunes or bunkers or anything like that. They're actually flower beds that were dug out so that there would be less maintenance. How crazy is that? It's worked though, because in my time I've been here, they have been very low maintenance, and they actually act as a place where you can blow all the debris from the trees above, huge trees, and then just rake it up. So it acts as a little bit of a catch-all basin to blow everything into. So I'll show you what they look like at the end anyway, because I do edge them and then we do rake them clear. Just done the edging on this emptied out flower bed, and then just about to do the edging on this one, so you can see the difference. Not too bad, but they get nice and sharp, and I'll show you the other edge I do. I've done the lawn. I'll show you what it looks like from the other angle, but it looks very nice. Oh, and there's something up here. There was a bit of a bald patch where, I mean, I don't know, something was left over winter. But all the grass seed is coming up now, so that'll be nicely covered. And so you can imagine the grass on the rest of the lawn has done the same. And it's this edge that I do very nice and crisp. I'll give you a close-up of it. And then show you what it's like when it's done. Edging done, and nice and sharp. But looking good all the way up there. And I'll just hop up and see. I'll show you what the lawn looks like from the best angle. There it is. So that's where we started with this flowering plant, and that's what the lawn looks like. So all good, nice and neat and tidy, and on to the next one. Alright guys, we're at this garden today, and there's a load of colour going on. I'll show you in a bit, but we're just mowing through the lawns, so I'll keep you up to date and maybe take you along for a ride in the back. There's an absolute flood of colour here. We've got these beautiful red tulips, and they do go up through the garden, and they're just behind this acer, which sets them off beautifully. And we'll be doing the edging in this lawn, and if you follow me, I'll take you for a little ride, and there's something quite nice at the end. So I'll show you that when we're done, but it's this plant. I've got one in my garden. I know someone's named it before, but I'm no good with these Latin names. It's the common names I can try and remember. And there's a really dark tulip here, a dark red. Beautiful. Need to do a bit of weeding here, I can see. I've hoed through, but the weeds have come back. But the rest of the garden is looking mighty fine. And you can see where we've hoed already. It was a good 3 weeks ago, but little tiny seedlings coming up. And some of you may have seen me pruning this rosemary bush. And it's still alive, flowering in fact. But yeah, once you cut rosemary bushes back when they're a bit old, they don't come back, and so we won't get any new growth down there. But the customer did want to have it pruned back, so that's what we had to go for. I'm just finishing off hoeing through this little bit, and then we're done. But I'll show you what we've just done. I'll just get through this last little bit. And the front's looking absolutely amazing, and this lawn's looking nice too. So it just looks so good when the soil's sort of freshly fluffed, is what I'd call it. And just been through this border, and then we've mowed. Well, I've mowed the lawn. There it is. It's such a cool shape, and really nice sharp edges. And then this beautiful bush here with the new red leaves. I really like that one. I've got one at home, and I've been taking cuttings, and I've got my eyes out. I just want to see what else I can be taking cuttings from. But come with me and we'll go around the front. Because the front's looking amazing. So it's all been fluffed through, and then there's these really amazing, really brightly coloured flowers, and it's on growth that creeps along the ground but also can flop over the wall. And it was originally only planted in this corner, but we took cuttings from it, root cuttings. You just cut a bit out, and it's got root below it, and then move it all the way along the wall, and that's what it looks like a year or two later. So looking really nice, and nice sharp edge to this lawn. Everything's weeded, the gravel, this soil now, and that hedge is not too bad. It's not grown a huge amount this season yet, so that'll be ready for when hedge cutting season starts a little bit later in the year. And yeah, looking good. Really nice garden, this one. Really enjoy being here, so see you at the next one. Alright guys, we're in this beautiful garden, loads of stuff coming up, and we're going to continue with the hoeing on this vegetable bed. We're right in the back of the garden. Some very nice tulips coming up, and a yellow version. And there are some nice things all the way down as well. Steve's just pulled this dog rose out. Just trying to get a bit more, see this pathway here. Just trying to push it back a bit so that it can be more usable for the next year, because last year it grew all into the path and it just covered it. So just anything near the edge, like this sort of stuff, we're going to pull out and just give ourselves a bit more room. Well, the customer really, so they can walk around their garden. And there's this rhubarb starting to flower. So just going through some bits that I did last time, and then down here, making good progress on these dog roses. And I thought, well, actually, before these brambles start growing too big, I should probably go down the middle here, because there are quite a lot of weeds. And then some new raspberry shoots coming up there, so we'll have to stay on top of the ones that that are in the way, maybe propagate from them as well. Alright guys, here we go. We've pretty much done it. I've done a rough hoe. You can still see lots of bits, but I've done a rough hoe, not managed to pick them all up, but just to get through the volume in the time, and it'll make it so much easier next time. So pulled out some of the bigger bits here, but not quite got into sort of maybe just this area. Gone through what we did before, and that's really nice and fine, and there's not a lot of weeds going on there. And Steve's taken his time and really pulled every single weed out of this area. So it shows you different methods. If you're slower but more thorough, then we get that sort of volume, and if you just hoe through and leave a load of stuff behind and just bash through it, you can get more volume. So it's interesting seeing the bits that you can do. Ideally, it would have the time and go through it thoroughly. Been through this bit as well with the hoe in between all the blackberry bushes, and then this is the, we're just checking with the mutated one. So all the leaves are really coming out now, and if we have a look at the stem, I realised I hadn't shown you this sort of profile of it. It's quite thin and then quite thick on, it's like a strap, it's literally like a belt. Looks like a belt. So we'll see how that goes on through the year, and if it flowers, then that could be something quite special, because it's got 10 times the leaves of the normal blackberry bush. This is a normal one, so you can see there's something different going on. I think I've spotted the first rhododendron out. Quietly flowering away. Didn't even notice until near the end of our gardening session. So lots of things starting to come into play, and there's this sort of cherry blossom. All the cherry blossoms already out and coming out. It stretches right up into the sky, that one. It's really quite tall. And more cherry blossom coming here. So there's some beautiful flowers coming out now. It'll be peak hay fever season. Notice mine's been kicking in. There's just a couple of other things to have a look at. They've got loads of bluebells out. So theirs are now pretty much out. Just the first flowers coming off the bunch. And forget-me-nots down there. And then we've got the sun with us. Yeah. Some beautiful tulips.
They've come out beautiful.
Just while the customer's digging out something, this looks amazing, this tulip. It looks really dark inside, but not quite out yet. They've got lots of tulips along their border, and I'll just show you as many as I can, because it's a bit of a tulip collection, I guess. Oh, the customer's just shown me a pot she's put together, and it looks amazing. There's some tulips and some hyacinths. She's getting green fingers. Look at that hyacinth. A double petal. And then a rhododendron in a pot, I think. And I can see all the other pots are looking good.